Hello everybody, John Hannon here, founder and president of the World Hockey Institute in Buffalo Prospects, and we're delighted today to have Nick Carriare with us. Nick is the head coach at Buffalo State. What about the resurgence, and getting the, what's been responsible for the resurgence? Other than you, I mean, you're not going to say yourself, but you've played a big part in that. But what are some of the building blocks, I guess you could say?
Well, I think at Niagara, and Blaise McDonald, he was the head coach when we were there, and he was all about just unbelievable work ethic and discipline, and unbelievable levels of discipline. And it was a meat grinder. It was a very difficult. He was a difficult coach to play for. He was in your face. He was aggressive. As a player, you hate it.
He's about 7 or 8 inches shorter than you.
He is.
Right?
He'd shout at me like this.
And you're still scaring the you-know-what out of you.
Oh, yeah. I didn't say more than 2 words to him. Hello, goodbye. Never wanted to be anywhere near that office.
That's funny.
I was just happy to be part of things and try to work and try to work to fill a role. But the discipline and those things. Those are things that I took in as a young coach and kind of working. Jeff Meredith was a great mentor at Fredonia, and just the way that he's organized and the way that he thinks and applies things. So we kind of, Jeff's a very disciplined coach at Fredonia. So we kind of, I learned how he did things and looked a little bit about how Blaise did things. And, like you said, I had an opportunity to be the big cheese. So I want to make a statement about being assertive and being aggressive and disciplined. And Buff State didn't have a tremendous reputation for having discipline and that sort of stuff. I think they got a different type of recruit, and they had some good teams. They had some good players, Jimmy Ronayne and Urbanik and Nowicki. But by and large, it was tough to, and I think a lot of it had to do with there wasn't a lot of support there. Where Jimmy Fowler, the former coach, didn't really have money to pay assistant coaches. Guys volunteering from other jobs, and he was running the rink at the same time and didn't have help. So you put all those things together, and it's just not a great recipe for success. So after my first year, I hired Jason Greenway, who worked with me for 4 years and worked with you for some clinics and things like that. And I had to move back in with my folks just because it was a part-time salary, so we both moved back in and we treated it like our baby, and I couldn't have done it without him. But it was early mornings and sitting guys if they were late, and Lombardi times, so you're 15 minutes early for everything, and if you're not, you're late, and just a lot of kind of stress put on the guys in that regard, and fitness regime, and just changing the way a lot of these things were approached. And but we had some guys that played great. My first year, I had Sean Sheehan, who was a great goaltender. I had Sean Burke, who was just a flat-out goal scorer. We just put the team on his back, and Greg Probilski and Sean Castagno, just guys that were kind of the core, and they were the senior class that I came into, and I was a year or 2 older than them, with that. Sure. So that was the part of it. And then from there, we got a little bit more love, I think, from when we talked to recruits, and we've made the playoffs every year since I've been there that we were allowed to. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Which is good stuff. We hosted playoff games, and this year we finally got the monkey off our back, and we won a playoff game and took Plattsburgh to triple overtime on the road, and they were the eventual conference champions. So that's all good stuff, but a lot of it was just getting the structure there. Once the structure was there, then it was making sure we could, try to find those difference-making players. And we had some great teams in 07, 08, 08, 09 that that were heavily Canadian. A lot of guys from the Horseshoe League that I played in, because I had a lot of contacts there. And that was the first playoff game we'd hosted. I think it was 07, 08. Where we lost in double overtime, and hitting crossbars and all that sort of stuff. So it was really just taking care of the details and demanding that from the players, and playing the tough role as the disciplinarian. And when your leading goal scorer doesn't show up for something, sitting him just like you'd sit everybody else, but understanding you're going to treat your guys fairly, not equally. and that's probably one of the better.
It's a good quote, isn't it?
Better ones I got from Blaze. I was Blaze McDonald.
What do you say? You guys are gonna be treated fairly, but not necessarily.
Well, I didn't talk to him, so I didn't say that from Blaze. But
oh, you heard him say it.
I heard him say it. Maybe to it's one of those things where I don't expect to get the nice fancy equipment or anything like that. I'll take what you give me because I'm a fourth line banger. That's what I do. I don't need it, nor do I want it. The leading goal scorer, he gets the nice stick or the nice. That's fine, as long as he still has to work hard and still has to do all the things that I'm doing, then I'm okay with it. But I understand, at least I did understand at the time that things there were things like that you can't just make it. Everybody gets this, it's not. Life isn't that way. And I think when you kind of teach that to your guys, sometimes they have a little bit better of an approach on things.
And then, I guess, Nick, it gets to the point where your players are selling the program for you too, right? I mean, early on, you got to pitch and you got to tell them there's going to be structure and we're going to win. And now all a kid has to do is text his friend, or he comes on campus, he meets a guy and he texts him on the way home. He Skypes him maybe that night, or he emails him. I don't even think younger people are using email. It's texting and phone conversations. But then you have to have established something that your guys can say, yeah, this is a good thing, Bill or Frank or Joe, you should come, right? So
that's we talk with our guys about that. We have certain players, individuals, prospective student athletes, as we call them, that we'll look at and we'll watch early on, and we'll see them again, we'll talk to our people that we have all over the place that we talk to, and get to a point where we want to bring them on campus. We bring them on campus, we show them around, we spend our time with them. I like to spend a lot of time with each individual recruit, and at that point, there becomes a point where we've talked about everything. Right. Academically, what the program you're interested in, or if not, that we offer a tremendous amount. What the hockey program is. That we've either offered you a spot or we haven't. So from that point, that's where we say, okay, now we're going to give you to the boys. And you're going to go have lunch with the guys, or you're going to maybe sit in a class, or just go hang with the guys for an evening and go see a movie or watch a hockey game or whatever it is. And I tell the recruits, I say, my story needs to match up with our players' story. Because if I'm telling you something and they're telling you something different, well, there's not a good thing going on. So you're right on where, our guys sell it. We try to do every little thing we can to treat our guys and treat our program like it's a Division I program, with the understanding that we're a Division III school and we will be.
Yeah, your guys are fortunate. We talked a little bit about the facility, but in the cosmopolitan nature, I grew up in Central New York, about 10 minutes from Morrisville. I grew up in the town that Hamilton College in, which is beautiful, but Morrisville, it's a totally different setup. I have a friend there that's the athletic director, but the Potsdams, the Morrisvilles, Brockport, not to slight any of these guys, but it's a different environment. You have 10,000 students or something over Buff State and Elmwood Avenue and the zoo,
but no, you're right on. It's a very different environment. It's one big square block right in the middle of the trendiest area in Buffalo, New York, and living in Buffalo for years, which I know you have. It's I think you have. It's ends up being, you understand Buffalo. There's no traffic. You're close to malls and shopping areas and restaurants, and you got sports teams. You got the Bandits, the Sabres, the Bisons, the Bills. We're out of the 70-something SUNY schools. We're the only one that's in an urban environment, and we're the biggest. So there's there's just a lot of things that are very different about Buffalo State that I've really come to enjoy a lot, and it's a big part of what we talk about with players. Is we say, hey, if you want to go to a school where it's out in the pastures and that's the only thing, don't come here. Flat out. I want guys that want to be here. So again, just being straightforward with people and letting them know what our campus is about. And it's interesting because you have this very small network of about 2,500 students that live on campus in our residence halls, and you have an influx of about 8,000 that either live in apartments adjacent to school and in the Elmwood neighborhood, or they're commuting from the burbs, maybe still living with mom and dad. So you get a lot of different different things going on at school, and it keeps it pretty fresh.
So Nick, we want to thank you for coming by tonight and talking about the resurgence of the Buff State program and the culture that you built there. You got a great thing going. I always encourage the kids and the parents to get out and go to Niagara game, go to Canisius game, go to Buff State game. Try to get a handle on where you're trying to get to, for the young people. So congratulations so much on a great season, and look forward to some more great things. I mean, maybe knock on the door of the national championship and keep building. Yeah, one step at a time, I guess. But keep building your resume, and I know there's great things in store for you too going forward. So,
thank you, John.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.